Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing today?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to chat with your papa. That's always fun. We do that every Tuesday. We have Tuesdays with Charlie coming up later in the show. Also, we have a quote, and this is from Tom Brokaw. He's from the same state that I'm from, state of South Dakota. I have a quote from him here. He says, there on the beaches of Normandy, I began to reflect on the wonders of these ordinary people whose lives were laced with the markings of greatness. Tom Brokaw. Today is D-Day, so he was there visiting, and he says, there on the beaches, he began to reflect. And that is such a cool thing. That's a great quote. And there are people who are listening right now that probably lost a loved one on the beaches of Normandy. So our hearts go out to you. That's really sad. But again, keep in mind, they're, like he says right there, ordinary people whose lives were laced with the markings of greatness. It's quite a quote. People don't talk like that anymore.
No.
We should talk like that more often. Coming up, we've got some special things to share that are going on today. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Tuesday, June the 6th. Today is D-Day, which we talked about earlier today. It is also Drive-In Movie Day. It's been a while since we've been to a drive-in movie.
It's been a very long time.
We need to get out and do that before the summer gets too hot, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, now we missed out completely. It is National Eyewear Day, so if you wear glasses, today's your day. National Higher Education Day, so for those of you who went to college, even if only for 2 weeks, I guess that counts too, right, Heidi?
Sure thing. I went for more than 2 weeks.
long
Was
was
that
it?
directed to me?
I'm not saying it was you in particular.
I went a semester and a half, thank you very
I
much.
was way off. It is Russian Language Day today, and it is Yo-Yo Day. So there you go. We got all these things going on today. It's Yo-Yo Day, then it's not. Then it is, then it's not. Then it is, then it's not. Then it is, then it's not. That doesn't work?
Not for me.
Okay. She's not falling for this. All right. Coming up in a bit, we got more fun things on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Researchers have figured something out, Heidi. They figured most pet owners have already suspected this, but they figured out that dogs and cats don't dance, but birds do. Did you know that?
No.
They say they've documented.
I have seen birds dancing
yeah.
online.
Oh, they've documented for the first
Then
time.
again, I've also seen dogs dancing online.
Well, but that dog wasn't really dancing. They've documented for the first time that some animals dance to a musical beat. The researchers made a series of lab and video studies watching various animals for signs that they were actually feeling the music of the beat that they heard. They concluded that some parrots do like to boogie. And so does the occasional elephant, by the way. But there's no sign of musicality among dogs or cats despite long exposure to people and music. Chimps, by the way, our closest living relative, also appear to lack rhythm. So if you're expecting to have a chimp on Dancing with the Stars, not going to happen. Then again, I've never watched the show.
Agree to disagree. I've seen some pretty awesome dogs dancing.
Have you?
Yeah.
These findings are published in the Journal of Current Biology Online, so you can agree with that or you can agree with Heidi. You're talking about a video of like a little dog that was like
Little
dancing?
Chihuahua. And then there's another dog this was in Mexico, and they had a whole dance routine done, and this dog was dancing with him.
But he wasn't dancing to the beat of the music. They're saying you
the
can train.
Chihuahua was.
They're saying you can train a dog to do things. So they trained the dog to do that with or without the music. Like that was a musical cue. What they're saying is these parrots didn't have to be taught this. They just heard like a beat of music and they started bobbing their head to the beat of the music. Or they started like, tapping their toes. What do they have? Claws? Tapping their claws.
Anyway.
They're shaking their tail feathers. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, they're saying the study was about natural rhythm, not if you can train something.
Whatever.
Anyway, let's move on. It's true, by the way, because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs. A woman from Indiana found herself in need of some medical prescription. So this was like actual drugs that we're talking about. It's a medical prescription, but they had no money to get it. So she and her boyfriend decided to come up with a plan to rob the grocery store, which happened to be right next door to the pharmacy. And they left the grocery store and walked into the pharmacy with the money they just robbed from the grocery store, and then gave their real name and address and telephone number to purchase the prescriptions. With this info, the police were able to meet them right when they got home. She obviously ran out of her thinking pills before pulling this stunt. That was a very bad idea. So, very rare that the drugs we speak of are the actual, prescribed drugs.
Right.
But today, since that happened to be the drug of choice.
I mean, if it's like a medical necessity, you didn't have any money. I mean, I could see how if you would get desperate and it's your blood pressure medicine, you could die without it or something.
Yeah. You'd want to make sure you have pills. But
I mean, obviously, that's
don't
not
rob
the way
a
to
grocery
go.
store to
But
do
I could
it.
see how if you're desperate,
If you're gonna
you
get
could
robbed,
turn to desperate.
Town. Don't do that. Don't. I'm not giving you advice to rob anything. All right. Coming up, we have your moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. While her mother went to pay the water bill, 15-year-old Alexandria Moore from Lithuania, Georgia, decided, I'm going to be
Lithuania, Georgia?
I don't know. I might have said it wrong. She said, I'm going to be helpful. I'm going to move the car. Well, she moved it up onto the curb, sideswiping another vehicle, then slamming into a Lexus, which then smashed into another car. Then she thought, well, if I put it in reverse, maybe I can undo all of this. How do you suppose that worked out? No. Instead, she backed into a concrete pole and then into an SUV that hit another car. 2 of the 6 cars had to be towed away.
Oh, man.
She was charged with reckless driving. So,
Yikes.
there you go. Mom came out from paying her water bill. She's like, what the what? What happened out here? I was just trying to be helpful. Yeah, it wasn't very helpful. When I was a kid, I didn't do this, but I remember my brother Joe being helpful. Stood up on my dad left a vehicle running with 2 kids in it. Bad idea, especially when the 2 kids are me and my brother Joe. And my brother put the vehicle in drive, and the truck just idled and drove forward. And he was selling a camper at the time. And we smashed right into the camper as the guy was showing up to buy the camper.
Oh, I used to have nightmares all the time that a car would, I'd be in the car and I would be the only one who...
Well, if it says anything, my dad must have been a heck of a salesman. Still sold the camper. All right, we've got your scoop of the day on the way.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. There's maybe some bad news from Britain in addition to what we had happen last week in London. Here's some more bad news from Britain, Heidi. Decent chance, if you're British and if you're a male, your underwear are about 7 years old. For whatever reason, that's the average length of time British men hang on to their skivvies. Doesn't that
I
seem
would
like a long
say
time?
that's pretty much the same
How
here.
old do you
I've
think my
seen
underwear
your
are?
underwear.
I don't think they're 7 years old. Most of them
only
are not.
because I threw them
Yeah, you did.
away and
You went
bought you
through-
new ones.
What was that? Like it was 6 months ago, I suppose. So you had this mass exodus. My underwear drawer was empty. I mean, I had like 2 pairs because she got.
They all have
She said,
holes.
"I'm getting rid of all of the ones that have holes in them," and I was like, "Well, I'm not going to have any
Things
left."
were falling out. I don't know how they were helpful at
It
all.
wasn't very comfortable, so I kind of appreciate that you did that. I wish you would have got some different ones out because I don't like some of that you got new are good. Others, there's like this button in a weird place, and it's I don't know. Let's move on. Steve Harvey's back in the news. Thank you, Steve, for being in the news for me. His second ex-wife, Mary Harvey, is suing the Family Feud host for $60 million alleging that he damaged her soul.
Whatever.
What? I don't understand how that works. How do you damage someone's soul? $60 million?
Whatever. Come on, lady. I'm sure you were well compensated in the divorce.
I don't know.
And that's
It's
why
just
you
sad.
get divorced. If you're in a soul-sucking marriage, that's why you get divorced. That's the definition of
Wait.
divorce, I believe.
Don't you tell me every other day I'm soul-sucking you? No? Hey, a Michigan doctor, we're married, by the way, so at least this week. Let's see what happens. It's only Tuesday. Michigan doctor has had his license suspended after performing, get ready for this, liposuction in a barn. Yeah, that's how you get your license suspended in Michigan. That would do the trick. What were they doing? Snoop Dogg signed a deal with TBS to host a game show called The Joker's Wild. I wonder what that is.
I don't know, but I would go to a barn for liposuction
Would
if
you
there
really?
was a discount.
He's like, waddle in and
That wouldn't stop me. I'm just saying.
Hey, it's a great deal. Just come out to we're the third barn from the. Okay. Time Magazine did some deep investigating. They found that McDonald's McRib sandwich has 70 ingredients, many of which we cannot pronounce. 70 ingredients in a McRib?
That's not good if it's stuff you can't pronounce.
I still like them,
You
though.
like them. And
I haven't had one in a while, but boy, I do like them. If you check in on Facebook, you're among the many being blamed for the $260 million a day in lost productivity, according to a recent study. 233 million hours a month are squandered because employees are wasting time on social networking sites like Facebook, which we'll give you our Facebook page here in a moment because I want you to, waste some time finding something cool. According to a recent survey, 1 in 5 Chicago drivers are violating the ban on the handheld cell phone behind the wheel rule that they have. So saying, hey, you can't talk on a phone while you're driving. And they're like, yeah.
Where was this?
In Chicago. United Airlines is facing a fine for flying an airplane 23 times after it was classified as not airworthy. Whew, that's not good. They're like, hey, people are complaining we don't have enough seats. We're gonna take this old scrap plane out and start flying people. So United Airlines in the news again. How would you like to be their spokesperson?
I haven't flown United for years and years and years because I remember some things about them from years ago when I was a travel agent, and I would not fly
A
United.
couple from Alberta, Canada has just gotten engaged on board a hot air balloon, and right after he said, will you? And she said, I will. The hot air balloon crashed.
Oh.
Everybody's okay. It's the only reason I can laugh about it. Everybody's fine. But is that bad news? Is there like some sort of omen? Like
I would
if you
assume that's bad luck.
propose and then your hot air balloon crashes right afterwards, is that good news? I'm not sure. And finally, good news for chocoholics. A study from Harvard University found a link between eating more chocolate and reducing your risk of fatal heart conditions. So I'm going to have to start eating more chocolate.
But I'm sure it's not good for diabetes. So
I probably got that. Yeah, this is good. That's not so good. Anyway, if you would like to read more, Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. I've got a link there. See, found a way to squander some time. Got a little bit more time squandering to do with Tuesdays with Charlie. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day, all day, every day for 7 full days. And as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Is it that time again this week?
It is. It's always the best time of the week, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
See, we have a lot of fun doing it. So we're going to learn some good stuff today?
What happened to the fun part?
Well, it's fun. It's always fun.
It's entertaining.
There you go. So what kind of cool stuff are we going to learn?
Well, let's see here. Let's start off something simple here.
Okay.
Do you snore when you sleep?
Yes.
I take that as a yes.
I've heard you sound like a train going through there.
Kind of, a little bit. Cross between a wood chipper and, I don't know, a tuba full of Jell-O. I'm not sure.
Did you know that you cannot snore and dream at the same time?
No kidding. That's why I
Really?
don't ever have dreams.
Well, that could be because you're snoring all the time.
Really?
I had no clue.
I dream all the time, but John says I snore.
You don't snore all the time, though. You only snore when you're not dreaming, apparently.
Hey, then, studies show that eating spicy foods can help you live longer.
Well, that's good to know. Have to spice it up a bit.
I wonder if it's because like your body has to work harder or something. You sweat more, and so you're burning more calories. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gonna have to have some more
That's
spice.
sex. That's not snoring. That's sex.
No.
We're talking about the spicy foods, you old fart.
That too. Put some pepperoni down there and shit, we'll do anything.
Okay.
Okay then, hey. Get her off the phone.
You're grounded.
It is considered good luck in Japan when a sumo wrestler makes your baby cry.
Makes your baby cry?
Really?
Well, I make a lot of babies cry, so if I just put on one of those sumo diapers, I'd be making good luck for a lot of people.
That would make lots of people cry.
This whole thing is going nowhere. Is it?
Yeah, right. If this is the first time you've ever heard this program, give us another chance. Seriously.
Tune in next week. It'll be better.
Yeah.
Okay, then. The toothpaste Colgate in Spanish translates to go hang yourself.
No kidding?
I bet they don't sell a lot of it.
Probably not.
That's what we use as Colgate.
Is it?
Yeah.
We use whatever's on sale.
Yeah, I don't know what we use. It's just a white tube with black letters that say toothpaste, and it's not spelled right.
You know what? If they sold that, I would buy it. I've never found it. So
We get the one that they spelled wrong, so it's even cheaper.
Hey, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you hung up on me.
Where would we go? We got nowhere to go.
You probably should, but anyway. Okay, then I don't know what this word is, but under the code of Hammurabi, whatever that is, that's their code. Bartenders who watered down beer were punished by execution.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
I think they should be.
I
If you
think that's
water
a
down
just
beer,
punishment. I think that's just.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Mess with my beer.
I don't think you can say that on the radio.
Yeah, you can. I've heard you say it.
Just because you heard her say it doesn't mean you can
That
say
doesn't
it.
mean it's right.
Okay. I didn't say that then. Hey, then, male dogs lift the legs when they are urinating for a reason.
Why?
They are trying to leave their mark higher so that it gives off the message that they are tall and intimidating.
Really?
I tried that today. Fell over.
You have to quit lifting your leg while you pee, Charlie.
Yeah, well, it's hard to stand on one leg. And I got one last thing here for you.
Okay.
All right, what's that?
Booby trap, spelled backwards, is party boob.
Really? Just trying to see if I can spell it
Write
backwards.
it down and spell it backwards, and you'll come up with that.
All right.
I know you're doing it.
He is doing it in his head. I
I'm gonna
can
have
see
to
the
check it
wheels
out.
turning.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. Well, you ready for a question, Charlie?
You got one for me?
I do, and I'm going to see how smart you are. Which famous television family lived at 4222 Clinton Way? It's a
Family
famous
on TV.
TV family. Which house? Their house was located at 4222 Clinton Way.
I have no idea. I don't know the song.
Okay. Was it an old show or a fairly new one?
It was from the 70s, maybe even into the early 80s.
Archie Bunker.
No. It was the Brady Bunch.
That don't count.
It has to count. That was their address, 4222 Clinton Way. That's the Brady Bunch house.
Huh.
I'm going to look that up because I think you're lying.
Okay. I'm not, though. That's what the internet told me, so it's got to be true.
Did your people come up with that like my people come up
Yeah,
with stuff?
I have people working on things for me here, and
Oh,
that's
must
what they
be
told
true
me.
then.
It's got to be true. Well,
Otherwise, somebody get fired.
exactly. We don't want that happening. Not on a Tuesday.
No.
Well,
No.
always a pleasure to visit with you, Charlie. Thank you so much for answering the phone.
They could be far and few here coming up.
Thanks for answering, and thanks for half of the stuff you said. That other half, I don't know.
I personally like
Okay,
the other
well,
half.
We'll try it again next week.
There we go. Well, you have a great week. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Bye, Fluff.
Bye,
John.
Daddy.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We call and talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little program we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Taiwanese celebrate Constitution Day the same day that we celebrate Christmas. Now, the funny thing is, when I first read that, I don't know why I saw it this way and I laughed. I thought it said Constipation Day.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
I was like, why would you celebrate? Oh, Constitution Day. Okay, that's a good one then. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In the 1970s, Joe Namath, a famous football player, wore Beauty Mist pantyhose in their TV ads.
I remember that.
Do you remember those? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The gestation period for a hippo is about 8 to 8.5 months. That's how long they have a baby in their belly. So real close to a human. 9 months.
Sadly, Joe Namath has way better legs than I.
Does he really?
Oh my! We'll have to look up that commercial. You'll see. You'll be like,
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
he's pretty sexy.
Did he shave his legs for this? Or?
He must have.
Yeah. Well, if you would do that once in a while, then here's. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
Australia's national anthem is called Advance Australia Fair. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sanskrit is considered as the mother of all higher languages. It's because it is the most precise and therefore suitable language for computer software. So that's why they use that for computer stuff. Couple of fun facts for you right there, brought to you by pinkdrinkfree.com. Not just another diet, it's a way of life. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. 50% of the men surveyed say they wash their sheets every single week.
Right, they do. They
I think-
just say that because there are women sleeping at their house.
And I think that half the guys that they talked to lied because there's probably a lady doing the survey. So how often do you wash your sheets?
Liars.
Oh, how often do you do yours? Once a week? Yeah, that's what I do. Once a week.
Liars.
I think that there were probably times where I went over a year when I was single. Because I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know you needed to wash those.
I think there's probably times you've gone over a year now that you're married.
Yeah, we have it. So here's the story. It says, nobody's denying there's many of us out there that probably have a good reason to change your bed sheet on a regular basis. Like if you're sleeping in that bed, you should. Average person leaks around 100 liters of sweat. That's kind of disgusting while we're
That is
sleeping.
pretty disgusting.
That's each year, by the way. So for me, it's probably more like 1,000 liters because I sweat a lot. You have to just get a rubber sheets and
that's
call it
pretty
a day.
disgusting.
According to a British study, the same study also found most pillows have anywhere from 4 to 20 different species of fungus on them.
Oh.
That's kind of gross. And they're saying that you should be washing this stuff every 2 weeks is what you're supposed to do. So, if you're maybe feeling a little lazy right now or a little slobbish, don't feel bad because there's a lot of people out there that probably fall into the category of not being quite as tidy as we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
50%, a full half of men that were in this survey said they wash their sheets every single week. Really?
Whatever.
I don't think
Liars.
so. That would be 52 times a year, by the way. Most of them, I'm sure, are not.
Probably don't even do
that.
laundry once a week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Much less sheets.
Survey says, a more believable survey says 30% of men told us they change their sheets every 2 to 3 weeks. 11% said, yeah, I do that about once a month. Beyond that, for whatever reason, some people were maybe too honest. 4% said, and 5% of women, by the way, confessed to only washing their sheets 3 to 5 times a year.
Yeah, that's a little more. I bet that's a little more accurate.
1% of both men and women, all of whom we presume are probably bedridden, maybe, say their sheets only saw the inside of a washing machine once or twice a year. I'm like, yeah, I think we just admitted that too, didn't we? if you'd like to read this whole study, it is from our friends at Dollar Shave Club. And I've got a link to this at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at channelsurfertv.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at channelsurfertv.com.
John and Heidi.
Travelers now consider their mobile device the single most indispensable item they take with them while traveling. So, you got things like luggage. You got things like clothing. You got things in there like a razor.
I would say your money is probably the most important thing you can take along.
They say, while traveling, they rated higher than toothbrush, higher than deodorant, higher than their driver's license, their cell phone. More than 90% of respondents said their smartphone was a, quote, important travel companion.
You have to have your driver's license. You can't travel anywhere.
I don't know.
Can't even get on the airplane.
I don't know. 60% said they would be unwilling to go on vacation without a mobile device.
Oh, good Lord.
I would actually be okay with that, because here's the thing. That would actually be a vacation.
Yeah.
We had just recently, last Friday, I was on my phone a bunch for some reason, and we were meeting with some people, and my battery went dead on my phone.
And you about had a panic attack.
At first, but then I was thinking, you know what? It's been like 45 minutes, and I haven't even thought about it, and that's kind of cool. And I forgot to turn it on. I came home and plugged it in. I forgot to turn it on until the next day, and it wasn't until the next day I started getting all these text messages from the night before. I was like, wow, look what I missed out on. But I survived. That's the nice thing.
You lived to tell the tale.
I lived to tell the tale. And I've got another tale to tell in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Hey, Heidi, do you want to be more creative?
If I were any more creative, it would be dangerous to society.
Never mind. Not Heidi. Hey, you guys listening, you want to be more creative? Strap on some comfy shoes and take a walk. Study from the Stanford Research Center found that a person gets their creative output increased by as much as 60% while walking.
That's nice.
We're going to have to go for a walk.
We should go for a walk.
Come up with all kinds of great ideas. Imagine the ideas I could come up with if I just walked a little more. Because I don't come up with nearly enough harebrained ideas now, do I?
Maybe you could come up with good ones if you want.
Maybe I could. I've had a lot of terrible ideas sitting right here, haven't I?
Yeah.
I could go on.
I can attest to that.
I don't really want to bore you with the details. I remember one came with a cease and desist letter. That was a terrible idea. It wasn't bad. It was all in fun. And then I got a letter from some attorney. I was like, well, Heidi should have maybe told me more than once to not do that. That was a bad idea. All right. Coming up, we got some more fun stuff to share on a Tuesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
Researchers say wearing sunglasses may help prevent itchy and watery eyes. Also helps keep the sun out. I don't know if you know that, but it does. People who wear shades for 3 weeks needed 10 times more. Wait, what was that? Oh, people who went without shades. I was going to say that probably makes more sense. People who went without shades for 3 weeks needed 10 times more antihistamines than those who wore sunglasses daily during the same time. That may be because the lenses keep airborne pollen from landing on your eyeballs and activating mast cells, the culprits behind inflammation and irritation. For shades that will keep your eyes itch-free and protect you from harmful UV radiation, they say you can also find some that will help you look good, too. I was wearing some this weekend. I forgot my sunglasses, and I was going to an event in the sun outside, and I'm driving there, and I realize I'm like 20 miles from home and on no time schedule to turn around. I left my sunglasses laying on the nightstand. I'm like, why do I even have them there? That's a dumb place to leave them.
It is a dumb place to leave them.
So guess where they are right now?
On the nightstand?
I didn't. It's been days. They're still there. But I was digging around in the center console of our vehicle, and I found some
aviators.
Why do we have those?
I don't know.
Where did they come from?
I have no clue. I didn't know we had them.
With the shape of my head, when I was wearing those, I looked a lot like Buford T. Justice from Smokey and the Bandit. I was like, yeah, this is not a good look for me. And it's funny because I had like 5 people compliment me on my glasses. They're like, hey, I like your glasses. I'm like, yeah, please, don't. I know what you're doing there.
Don't humor me.
No, you don't like them. They were ridiculous. I could tell. But it was fun because I wanted to make sure that I, didn't get, what do you call it? Like too much sun in my face and pass out and all of that.
You did get a sunburn, though.
Did I get a sunburn?
You did.
Nice. Do I look good with a little...
I'm getting a little color.
You think I look a little better? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Guess what? We've got some good news. That is coming your way in just a bit on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. I always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. You ready for some good news?
Always.
All right. I've got some good news for you today. Zachary Bray from Boy Scout Troop 333 donated bedding to the Tifton Fire Department for his Eagle Scout project on May the 20th. That's really cool. He donated enough pillows and sheets and mattress covers and comforters to replace all of the current bedding at the 3-man fire stations. It says here that he chose this as his Eagle Scout project because he said, firefighters risk their lives for us, so I want to make sure they get a good night's sleep. That's really cool.
I absolutely love that.
That is very neat. So Zachary Bray,
love to decorate the inside of a fire department.
That would be kind of fun.
It would
wouldn't
be so fun.
Yeah, come in and put a fun little pillow here. Here's the thing I got to ask.
You suppose they were flame retardant? I hope so.
Flame retardant sheets? I have no idea. They try not to bring flames home with them, though, Heidi, so hopefully not. I don't think that's a big thing. Why do we have so many pillows on our bed?
You have to have, because I decorated the bedroom.
Yeah. So we have...
You have to have pillows.
2 people and 10 pillows. I counted. So before we go to bed, we remove...
you brought in an extra
8
one.
pillows.
Don't think I didn't notice.
Oh, yeah. So now we have 11 pillows. That's like the one that...
Because there's not enough pillows, so you had to bring another one.
This is one I actually leave on when I sleep. It's a nice pillow. I noticed that when your mom and dad were staying at our house. That's like our guest pillow, apparently. And I was like, this is nicer than my pillow. So I was going to put it away. I was like, I'm gonna try this and see. I was just trying it out. You notice the mattress, or what do you call it? The cover? Pillowcase? It doesn't match.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta probably swap
Drives
that out.
me crazy.
I'm gonna trade that for my pillow. They can sleep on that chewed up piece of bubble gum that I've been using.
Our pillows are awesome pillows.
So, that's not what I have.
They're feather pillows. They're
They might have been
amazing.
nice back when I got it, but I have ruined that pillow. This one's made out of foam or magic
feather
something.
pillows are way better
I don't
than
know.
foam pillows.
Oh, I know. We've gotten way off subject here. If you would like to see the story about this young man who got some really nice, I'm sure they were great pillows and great sheets, got them for the fire department in his town for his Eagle Scout project, you can find that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. We're going to get back to our pillow conversation now. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now. We're going to be visiting with Seth Greene. Seth, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me here.
And I'm looking on the website here, home of the Sharkpreneur podcast, and you work with one of the original sharks from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. He seems like a fun guy. Is he a fun guy to work with?
He is a fun guy. He is. I have learned so much by watching him when we interview our amazing guests every week. The questions he asks, how deeply he dives into their businesses, and how quickly he gets it. I learn something every single week when we do an episode.
That's awesome. And people learn stuff from you as well because you're the author of 6 best-selling books, and you've got a new one coming out, Market Domination for Podcasts. Now, what was the concept behind putting this book out? Where did you come up with the idea to do this one?
Sure. So before I launched our very first podcast a couple of years ago, I did some research, and I started interviewing some of the top podcasters and marketing thought leaders in the world. I wanted to make sure I did it right and knew everything I could before I started. And I interviewed those folks. I transcribed and edited those interviews to get out of them what I wanted to learn. And that helped me build a very, very successful podcast and helped me counterintuitively create a process that could generate clients, customers, and patients for small business owners, even if they only had 12 people, 10, 12 people listening to their podcast. So I took that process, and we now offer it as a done-for-you service. But I took all of the interviews I did and turned it into a book because I had so many people listen to our show or the 40 or 50 shows that we produce and said, how do I do that? So I realized I already had the answer to that question that I had figured out for myself in a book form. So we got a publisher, and I achieved a bucket list goal of mine because it is now on the shelves at Barnes & Noble, Market Domination for Podcasts.
That is really, really cool. Seth, I'm proud of you. That's a neat thing to be able to take this concept and follow it through to completion. And I like one of the things you just said as well. You can help people get the results, even if it's just 10 or 12 people listening to the podcast, because there are some people who think you need to reach millions of people. Well, you really only need to reach a few people if they're the right people, don't you?
Exactly. That was the way we built our process, was that our clients that we produce their shows for would be able to generate business. I mean, we have a client now who got business out of his podcast before the episode even aired. The guest had asked to hire him and hire his firm, and he said, we've got a video testimonial from him because he said, you know what, my podcast, before this guy's episode even aired, he hired us and I made way more than all my money back.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Again, visiting right now is Seth Greene. He's the author of a new book, Market Domination for Podcasts. Also the host of a podcast called The Sharkpreneur, which is kind of a fun concept for a podcast, and co-hosted with one of the original sharks from Shark Tank, Kevin Harrington. Now, how long have you and Kevin known each other? Have you known each other a long time, or did it just start with this podcast?
No. Kevin and I have known each other a while. We first met at an event he was speaking at, I would say 3 or 4, 4 or 5 years ago. We met at an event. I went to an event where he was speaking, and then we started talking there. And I've been dripping on him for years. We did some consulting work for As Seen on TV, and he and I speak at a lot of the same marketing conferences, so we kept seeing each other. We'd say, I didn't know you were at this event, and then we'd have dinner, we'd grab a drink, we'd have lunch, and we'd keep talking. And then finally, about last summer, about a year ago, we were speaking at an event that event is called Freedom Fest, and we were both there speaking, and I'll be speaking with him again in a couple months when it occurs again. And we had dinner at that event, and he said, you've been dripping on me and giving me ideas for years. Let's do business together. What can we do? What do you have that's really sexy right now? And I told him about my podcast and how we were producing them for other people and getting business for business owners with, a minimal number of listeners. And he said, that sounds awesome. I want in. So we rebranded my show around him and turned it to the Sharkpreneur Show. And we were doing great before then, but obviously with his involvement and him pushing out his episodes every week to his social media following, which is significant and a lot bigger than mine, it's gone even further and allowed us to give away copies of my book for free. So if your listeners want to grab a copy of Market Domination for Podcasting, obviously we'd love for them to get it off the shelf at Barnes & Noble, but if they want to download a free copy at marketdominationllc.com/podcast, they can go get a free copy of the book along with a live training with me where I'll share with them exactly how we execute this process for our clients and how they can do it too.
That's very nice of you. Again, the website, marketdominationllc.com, and then put /podcast, and you'll find that free download. That's really, really generous of you guys offering that. That's a really cool thing to do.
Well, it's our goal, Kevin and my goal with our podcast is to inspire 10,000 entrepreneurs to start their own podcast and reach over 1 million people. So I got to give away a lot of copies to inspire 10,000 people.
There you go. Well, I'll be downloading it myself. How's that sound? I just think this sounds fascinating, and it amazes me the technology that we have at our fingertips right now. Think about, back in the day, how hard it would be to do all of this stuff, and now you can do it on a smartphone. I mean, isn't that just crazy?
It is. It's funny that you mentioned that because, like the wrestler Stone Cold Steve Austin, he had said that he wanted to start a podcast for 3 years, and the reason he didn't start one was because he was afraid of the technology. And I said, all you need is a phone. That's literally it. I mean, you don't need a fancy mic. You don't need a fancy studio. There are people who do them, obviously. And, of course, if you have that equipment, it'll sound a little bit better. But basically all you need is your phone to get it done. And once he was made aware of that, he started his show, and he said, oh, my God, I wish I had known how easy this was 3 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, our guest today, Seth Greene, and he is with Market Domination. He's got a new book called Market Domination for Podcasts. It's available at Barnes & Noble, and like he said just a moment ago, he'll give you a copy for free off his website. We'll tell you again how to do that here before we're done. What is next for Seth Greene? Do you have another book in the works, or is there another project that's like a big thing that's coming up soon?
I do. We are currently working on our latest, greatest, marketing technology, I would say. Something we really like is this relatively new, is the concept of geofencing.
Oh, yeah.
What that means is you can run advertising on people's phones, in their apps, based on where their device is. So, for example, that means every event that Kevin or I speak at, we can run ads to everyone whose device is in that hotel and say, hey, did you just saw Kevin Harrington speak, go listen to the show. Or you just saw Seth Greene speak, go get the book. You could use that to geofence your competition. If you're a gym, you could advertise in front of other gyms. If you were a pizza place, I have a local pizza and wing place as a client, and we have achieved incredible results for them. They're a mom and pop place, and the only one with like over 10,000 Facebook followers in their market, because we advertise in front of places like Pizza Hut and Domino's and say, our pizza's better.
Nice. That's really a neat idea. And that's called geofencing. I've read about that. I've never seen anybody doing it. So it's cool to know that there are people doing that, and that you're helping them do that. That's neat.
It's like in the last couple months that it became possible.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, again, folks, if you'd like to know more, our guest, Seth Greene, has a book called Market Domination for Podcasts. That's one of his many books, but that's the new one that's out right now. And I'm going to give you his website. You can learn about all of his books and learn about everything at marketdominationllc.com. And again, Seth, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and an honor to share with your guests.
Absolutely. Again, Seth Greene, and he is the host of a fun podcast with Kevin Harrington. For those of you who are fans of Shark Tank like myself, you remember Kevin from the very beginning. He was one of the early sharks. We miss him, by the way. You'll have to let him know that. We miss Kevin on the program, so he should go back and
I have told him that many times.
He should do a cameo every once in a while. Instead of that dude from Uber, get him in there instead. So nothing against the dude from Uber.
I will tell him you said it.
Just saying, we want him back. So the home of the Sharkpreneur podcast, and one of the hosts of that, Seth Greene, has been our guest today. And again, we appreciate you listening to the John and Heidi Show. To learn more, again, his website, marketdominationllc.com.